Hey friends, wow, that's dark. I checked it ahead of time and I didn't think it was that dark, but it is pretty dark. Okay. Um, yeah, so I am doing office hours a little bit late today, an entire hour late, sorry. And it's actually going to be very short as well because I've got another meeting at 11 and we might get interrupted because I got some people over here at the house working on a couple things. It's amazing when you finish a house, it's actually not finished. That's pretty standard. Our builder was awesome though, so no shade toward the builder. But anyway, so this is going to be really quick. I'm not even going to get in the Zoom call and stuff. I'm just going to work through the questions that we have in the Discord and maybe get to some chat questions. So that is that. So if you're new here, office hours is just your chance to come and talk with me. Typically, I will be in a Zoom call, and you can find the Zoom link here. But yeah, it should be, yeah, not today, sorry. Somebody just asked, why is it so dark? Hopefully it's not dark anymore. Let's see, office hours. Let me come over here, and let's get through some questions that we've got. I think we talked about that. Yeah. So Jacob, again, coming in clutch, helping a lot. So thanks a lot for that. All right. Here, let's go ahead and put a link to the live stream here. Right there. There we go. Stick it right here. And then I can say... answering your question. Why am I answering your question now on the live stream? That is way faster. Okay. There's a button that calls handle click when clicked. Handle click contains its own code that can throw errors, as well as fetch to do items from server function call that can throw errors as well. Okay. When an error is thrown, a single toast notification should be displayed with an error message that depends on the error, client or server, response status, additional information, response, etc. So there's some check priority. Okay, I intentionally didn't define errors as client or server ones because any type can be in either function. Fetch to do items from server can be used in several places, so we can't just copy its content to handle click to simplify error handling. Questions. Is there a single consistent scalable, more error prone blocks in each function, more nesting levels, etc. approach to handling such situations? How and where in which function would you handle the errors in this case and why? Okay, whoa, we've got a whole lot of conversation going on. And Artem came in, so this is good. I've got some thoughts, but let me just quickly review since we don't have a lot of time. Yeah, okay. All right, let's compare their two approaches. So we've got our click handler, we've got some functions. Here we process the error. That is kind of what I was thinking, something like that. I don't know that I would split it up as like a totally different thing, but in the Epic stack, we have this get error message utility that is similar to what we're talking about here. It'll just check. Really, the goal there is we don't always know what's been thrown, and so we check, is this an error instance, and does it have a message property? But you could enhance it further to handle like different response errors like status and stuff like that. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so you could totally do things this way. The closer that you put the error handling to the thing that caused the error, the more context you have and the better error message you can give. And so if you feel like you can improve the user experience with a closer error, then do it. I think that works out perfectly well. I would probably still have that get error message right here because just for type safety reasons, because error.message TypeScript is going to be like, I don't know, like you could have anything be thrown in these functions. So I kind of would do both. Yeah, I would do both. More details in my live stream, but I would do both approach 1 and 2 on a case-by-case basis. Definitely approach 1, sometimes also approach 2. And I'll just throw down that thing, the theme refresh. What a joke. Man, that thing bothers me so much. Yeah, no Zoom today. Sorry, Taryn. I just don't have any time to... I'm going to do this one really quick. It'll be like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Having trouble finding a good justification for not using data test IDs in unit tests, especially considering the side effects of misapplied role attribute. Let me say, answering this on the live stream now. So, I can think of a lot of good justifications for not using data test ID. You brought up the side effects for misapplied role attribute. That's definitely a problem, and that I see that as kind of a separate thing. Let me be more clear. I think that by testing with accessible roles, it encourages people to misapply the role attribute, and that's bad. I have actually not seen this a lot, but I expect that it does happen. I'm guessing you have seen this because you're bringing it up. And so, yeah, that is bad. That's something that you should go through, like reviews, code reviews and stuff like that. But the fact is that it protects, by using data test IDs, it's really easy to have a UI that's broken, from an accessibility perspective especially, but in general, while the test still passes. So by using a test ID, you can very easily access a text box, for example, but you don't know if it's properly labeled, and so you miss out on a lot of the benefits of using the by role queries from an accessibility standpoint, and also just a code readability standpoint as well. And then littering your code base with data test IDs is not fun at all. I'm not alone here. Most people now have joined me in this way of writing tests, and I'm really happy with that. I think that it's the right way we should be writing tests. So yes, I do appreciate the side effects of misapplied role attribute. That's not good, and that people should do better. But I think it's better to have that problem to deal with than the alternative, which is littering our code bases with data test IDs and making it too easy to have issues with properly labeling inputs and things of that nature. And also, it makes it harder to refactor your code. You might leave a data test ID in there that's not used, and now it's just dead weight. Or you could swap out one type of an input for another and completely change the user experience mistakenly. So, yeah. Okay, Daniel VC. Hey Kent, I just stepped out of engineering interview, which contained a live tech test. I hope you did well. Good, congrats on the interview. And technically, despite how much prep I did, which was a lot, none of what I prepped for came up, even though I knew the format of the interview up front and even the topics to be discussed. Oh, well, that's frustrating. If they told you what topics would be discussed and then they didn't discuss those things, that's on them. That's mean. And so I wondered if you have any tips for how to handle the expected questions. Quite easy to be discouraged when this happens. Yes, I know, I'm so sorry. And despite how many interviews I've done, this always throws me. Dude, I am sorry. The interview process in our industry is still broken. After all, my entire time in this industry, it's been broken. I feel like it's actually maybe gotten worse with AI, and on both sides, like the people interviewing and the people being interviewed. And so, man, I haven't interviewed. I haven't been an interviewer of anybody for since I left Remix, and that was only a couple times, and before that it was like 3 years. And also haven't interviewed anywhere since I interviewed at PayPal, which was, oh gosh, that was end of 2015. So it's been a long time. So just to contextualize all my opinions there, I um, I know that it's easy to be discouraged in this job market, and when the interview doesn't go well and you feel like it was the other party's fault, and it probably was, to be honest, a lot of their fault. That's really discouraging, and I can't really um, I can't give you any advice beyond just keep trying, and eventually you will find a place where the interview actually does pull out your skills and your the value that you can provide the company. And so I'm really sorry that that happened to you. I hope that you find a spot that does a better job at their interviews. Unfortunately, you don't really get to control the interview process of the company you're interviewing for. So it sounds like you did all the right things. You asked them what the format of the interview would be and the topics and things. And like beyond that, I think like really understanding the job role, even reaching out to people that are going to be your interviewers to just ask them what's the job like and things like that, to get an idea of the tech that they use and things. Even in the interview, I don't think that it's off base to ask like, oh, is this the technology that you use? Like you're also interviewing the company. And so, yeah, I think that is like totally okay to do as well. So, man, I'm so sorry. That stinks. Keep it up. You got this. Oh, hey, I was actually going to come and talk with you at PAL because you just posted this in here. So that was the next thing I was going to do. But since you're here, I'll just mark this as checked so that we don't have it in two places. Okay, so we're on schema validation 3. So this is forms.epicweb.dev, and we're on schema validation, conform utils. Here we go. So right here, I need to figure out why this is taking so long. It really shouldn't take that long, especially once it's been cached. There's a lot going on here, but there's caching, and so it should be very fast. So I got to figure out why the website is going so slow. Yeah, so I disabled JavaScript, remove the contents of the title field. So if we look, yeah, preview. Yeah, this is not working. That's too bad. Man, I really wish that this actually worked. This is mostly in the deployed version. It's so that you can explore the code really easily. Maybe I should just say, no, just look at the editor and don't show the preview. I can do that. That's easy. But anyway, so we're looking at, here, let me just now that we peek at this to remind myself what this is all about. We're looking at the title. Here, I'm just going to cheat and look at the solution here really quick. Sorry, I just need to like bring myself back up to speed on this exercise that I made like forever ago. Okay, so we've got our form. We have a label, title, input, and you are asking about progressive enhancement. Remove the contents of the title field. Oh, okay, so yeah, you're in the app. You remove that and then hit submit. You see the error pop up, which is from the server side. This is with JavaScript disabled. Yep, that's how it works. Confused with progressive enhancement here. I thought without JS, we want native HTML validated the form first. We only submit the form to the server if it passes client validation. Yes, that should be the case. I may need to pull this up to make sure that we're on the same page here. Let me pull this up. We're on exercise 3. Okay, there we go. It's nice and fast locally, so that's good. This is the only place you really should be using this anyway. So here, we'll start the app, and then we'll also pop open this guy. Okay. So title. Here we go. So we've got, yeah, here we're loading it, and then we've got our action. I think we should maybe, yeah, right here we have this use hydrated. So this is before we add conforms utilities, and we have if we are hydrated, that determines whether the no validate thing is on there. And so let's go over to Cody's first note. We'll remove this, and actually here, let's also disable JavaScript. Block scripts, refresh, remove this, hit submit, and we get this. So what you're asking about is, hold on a second, I thought when we get to the solution, I'm going to fast forward us to the solution now. So now we're running conform, and here we're getting a full page refresh. So I believe what your question is like, hold on a second, I thought we were going to stick with the HTML validation. So have the no validate only if we have JavaScript in the client, and then only fall back to the server if the things that are HTML validated are not available. And yeah, that actually is a correct understanding. So let me figure out what is going on here. Yeah, we have no validate on here. This could be a change in conform, actually, because I believe in my video I show that it actually does. Yeah, let's do console.log form props. Just see. So we've got a JavaScript disabled, so it's not going to show up in here. But we can see in here, it does have no validate true on the server render. And so I'm going to have to ask Edmund about this. He's the creator of Conform. Because I also thought that we wanted to fall back on the validation. So what should happen is this no validate shouldn't show up until the JavaScript has shown up. And with the no validate not there, then we will get the HTML inputs. Now, a couple of things about that. The primary, so let me just first, why don't you open an issue on Conform and just ask Edmund, I thought that on the server render, the no validate shouldn't be there in that HTML. And then after it hydrates, we add the no validate. Why is that not happening? But then second, let's talk about maybe the reason why he's doing this. And that is the only time where somebody should experience this is if they happen to submit the form with errors before the JavaScript has finished loading. And then they would be able to see this. That's maybe a product decision, because if they manage to submit it before the JavaScript loads without, and they have errors, but we have the no validate on there, it is going to trigger a full page refresh, but your server code is going to validate it anyway, and then it will send back with the UI that we want, which is this red outline and the required and stuff. And so the primary benefit to doing no validate on the form, or not adding no validate on the form, is you get the browser's built-in validation for some things, and we have all of the right attributes and everything, so that's not a problem. And so that the main benefit there is you're not making an unnecessary network request if the form is already invalid anyway. So it's like it's kind of an edge case. So I'm not super concerned if Edmund decided that he's just going to server render with no validate. My understanding was that it does, or at least it did, server render without no validate and then add no validate later. But it looks like that's not happening. So kind of curious what Edmund, or if anything changed. Maybe I was just wrong and misunderstood it. But I'm pretty sure that it originally didn't have the no validate on there. So do conform remove native validation entirely? Looks like that is the case, at least with this version of conform that we're running. Yeah, so you preferred it that way. Yeah, I understand that's the way. I have mixed feelings. I'm actually fine either way. The trade-offs are about the same as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I got to move on to the next one. I hope I answered your question well enough. Feel free to reach out to Edmund for more questions about it. And I will actually mention Edmund Elfrain, Edmund, for more questions about it. Okay, great. Got your questions, leak code are the worst? Yeah, I know, it's the worst. Okay, this has been awesome. I've got to run, so thanks everybody for jumping in. I'm glad that I was able to get to your question, Ed Powell. Yeah, hopefully that was, I at least answered it. It may not be the satisfactory answer you were looking for, but yeah, hopefully that is helpful. Okay, let me close down this stuff. I'll leave just a second for another question if anybody's got them. I do hope that I can do some more live streaming today. Oh, let me check. Looks like I have a couple Twitch questions. Um, Hey, congratulations, MJ developer. They just got role at Shopify, probably working with Remix or React Router v7. That's exciting. Congrats. Um, yeah, very cool. Good for you. All right, yeah, good stuff. Let me just double check the Discord. Had an issue with conform where my input goes from controlled to uncontrolled. Ooh, that's probably not good. I made a UX where locations are predicted based on input value upon clicking one of them dates. Um, yeah, okay, so I would say you probably need to initialize it. Just leave it as controlled. So if it can be one or the other, then you probably just want it to be controlled always. So make sure to initialize that value. So hopefully that helps. All right, thanks everybody so much. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hopefully will be streaming a little bit more this afternoon. I've got some interesting work that I need to get done. So just kind of depends on everything else that's going on today. It's kind of a busy day. So peace.